CTV News Northern Ontario, a special presentation. Here's Ian Campbell.
Good evening and welcome to beautiful downtown Sturgeon Falls. For the next 6 11:30 newscasts, we are doing once again something special this holiday season. We are bringing you nothing but the good news, whether it was news that made you smile, news that made you think, or maybe it was something that just made a lasting impact in your community. Stories like how the city of Timmins stepped up to save a fountain, or whether it was the community of Sturgeon Falls stepping up to help the hungry. Or maybe it was just an Indigenous fashion designer making waves in the fashion world. Take a look.
Leslie Hampton's interest in the fashion industry began at just 4 years old, born out of a love of seeing her visions come to life. The Anishinaabe artist says for the longest time she didn't envision herself working in the industry.
Even at that young age, I only saw one skin type, one body type, and being a curvy Indigenous kid, I really didn't see myself in that space.
But after obtaining her university degree, she decided to jump headfirst into fashion full-time, launching her line in 2016 at the age of 22. Hampton is a member of Tamagami First Nation and says inclusive fashion through an Indigenous lens is the base of her line's core.
To have that increased level of representation is so crucial for that young kid, for that young Indigenous kid, young BIPOC kid, or even young curvy kid who really wants to see themselves represented in these spaces.
Her work has been featured at various fashion shows across the country. She's also been noticed by a number of celebrities after Kim Kardashian shared Hampton's 2017 fall-winter line on social media.
Then that's now progressed to dressing Lizzo, dressing Lily Gladstone, and then most recently we've dressed Sandra Oh for her Order of Canada ceremony, and that's just been really exciting because all these celebrities, whether we reached out to them or in the case of Sandra Oh, her team reached out to us, it's really people who are dedicated to representing what my brand stands for.
Her next feat, a pop-up at Holt Renfrew in Mississauga in celebration of Indigenous History Month.
It's so important for customers and clients who are in the luxury space to understand that Indigenous fashion can be worn by everyone.
Hampton's collection will be featured at Holt Renfrew until July 4th. Looking ahead to the future, she says she has her sights set on an international scale, hoping to one day be showcased at either New York or London's Fashion Week. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Scaffolding is one of MSN Contracting's core services, and now that it's the proud owner of this 50-year-old tower and fountain, Mark Norcom has decided to make it pretty again.
So we start off by getting a pump from across the river, which was donated by Gorge Rental. We just pumped some water into the tower to see what would happen, and water came out the top. So we said, okay, that's step one. Then we got people honking, going by, and we're like, oh my God, wow. So then we decided, okay, well, let's refurbish this thing.
Norcom says his company is committed to seeing this project completed, as long as there are no issues or delays with any required permitting.
Yeah, most definitely it's going to be a fountain again. It may not look identical to what was there, but definitely I promise it's going to be a beautiful fountain for the city of Timmins. And so we hope that everybody can appreciate what's going on, what's happening here for our community.
The structure is located on the banks of the Matagami River in a high-traffic area along Riverside Drive. Norcom says the pinnacle was a safety concern and had to be removed. When the fountain's flowing again, river water will cycle through it and back into the river. Norcom says testing the fountain was a spur-of-the-moment idea and feedback has been encouraging, and he would welcome support from other businesses and organizations to make this a community project. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Cheers and smiles. It's a celebration tinged with orange, the color of Franco Cite Catholic Secondary School. As students pass bags of food to the next person in line, a human chain formed, handing them along to the food bank stores.
Inflation is a big thing. A lot of people are losing their jobs, so it's just very important. Food is a necessity, right?
Full of of enthusiasm, students of 4 elementary schools and 1 high school went out door to door last night collecting non-perishable food items and cash donations.
Everyone's always so nice and so appreciative to be a part of it. They're so happy to give us whatever they can, and we appreciate every single donation that we get.
The generosity is so high, especially this year. We had a hard time communicating with people with the post-Canada strike. We couldn't give out pamphlets, and yet people still came out.
This tradition is in its 25th year. Teacher Yves Lafreniere organized the human chain idea with the help of 3 others, looking to create a school community project as a way of showing appreciation for the public support for the school over the years.
Students are really eager to come and do une canne, ça dépend. They really want to do it every year.
Last year, the schools broke their own record, collecting a total of £22,000 and $4,300 in cash donations. This year, they're just a little shy of that, but still a whopping £20,000 and $1,800 in cash.
Anything makes a difference, and 20K is so much that it changes a life.
It couldn't have come at a better time for the food bank. Just last night, the shelves were almost bare. Food bank coordinators expect this will help feed clients until early spring.
We used to get 50 to 60 people come through our doors. Last month we had 174 in one day. And when you add up all the people at home, it's just under 400 people that we feed.
Donations can still be dropped off this weekend at the food bank. And at a time of giving and sharing, a large school community knows that it's done its part.
Strength of the community, strength of the school, and it's just the atmosphere is so good.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
That has to be one of the coolest traditions here in Sturgeon Falls. Always brings a tear to my eye. There's more good news to come, including a story from the Sioux about a young girl and her bicycle. One of my absolute favorites this year. We have to head to break, but before we do, here's a few holiday messages to you and yours from some local politicians you may recognize.
I take this moment to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Gaëtan Mallette, your Member of Parliament. Je profite de ce moment pour vous souhaiter tous un joyeux Noël et une bonne et heureuse année. And let's all remember that at this time of year, the most important thing is family and friends, to take time with them. Souvenons-nous qu'à ce temps de l'année, c'est un temps précieux à passer en famille et avec nos amis. Profitons-en. Joyeux Noël, Merry Christmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. On behalf of my family, my staff, and myself, I'd like to wish everyone in Timmins Cochrane a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy, prosperous, and peaceful New Year.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Welcome back. Well, if you're just joining us, we are taking a look back on the good news of 2025 here in downtown Sturgeon Falls. Stories like some Sudbury students who got a chance to sing along with Canadian rock royalty. There's a McCarroll man who's found a unique way to spend his retirement. And then there's this story from the Sioux. You are going to love this little girl. Check her out.
Yes! It's been an exciting few days for little Leah Sperry. Her dream of having her very own bike has become a reality. The 7-year-old has defied the odds just by living this long, and now, thanks to the donations of 174 people, she's able to get her wheels in motion.
We never thought that we'd get her to this point in her life, so to see her do that is such an incredible feeling for our family and our friends and everyone that supported us along the way.
The girl who has spent nearly half of her life in a hospital bed is now enjoying the wind in her hair on a bike with many special modifications.
This is for her oxygen tank, and then in the afternoons when she has her IV pump running, then we can also look at that. It originated from the UK, and then it had to go through a company in the States, and then go through many circles and chains, and it took a lot of effort, and a lot of people were working hard to get it here for her. So it did take about 5.5 months for the bike to get here.
If the winter weather holds off a little longer, Leah will be able to ride her bike alongside her older brother, something she's been dreaming of for a long time. And with Leah constantly looking to head out on her new wheels, her family is asking around to see where she can ride during the colder months.
We're contacting a few places that we're seeing if there's some generous people out there that have a large enough space that she can maybe ride it in this winter, where we're not going to hit people or cars, because we're still learning to steer a little bit.
The bike used less than half of the $29,000 raised by her GoFundMe, with the remaining funds heading towards specialized travel equipment so Leah can take the Make-A-Wish trip that she's been eligible for years. Summing up the gratitude for her whole family, Leah says,
"Thank you."
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Someone asked me recently, when is it going to be finished? And I said, I don't think it's going to be finished.
Dave Howie has spent countless hours building miniature versions of Northern Ontario sites that his railroad could interact with to keep himself busy during retirement.
I realized I've got 24 hours a day and I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting in front of a computer, just, it's not productive, not safe for my mental health. So I decided I'm going to build a railroad that I've never had a chance to build before.
What started as a hobby quickly grew to an immense skill set.
I learned how to do the electricity for them, underneath like wiring from underneath. And then there was learning how to build models, learning to use the laser cutter, learning to use the 3D printer, the 2 3D printers that I have. So over the course of the years, I've amassed a lot of skills just to do this.
Howie then decided to start sharing ways of cutting costs on an expensive hobby. This began a new learning project of video editing, lighting, and more.
The YouTube channel, the main goal was to show people how to do this cheaply. Because it gets very expensive very, very quickly. Like an engine, the latest engine I bought was $300. So that, and I've got about eight engines, all roughly that price tag. So it's learning how to do this cheap.
His online community has grown over the years, but his hobby has expanded outside of his world as well.
I think it's incredible. I think it's just great to see that folks take the time to replicate something in that way, and it really just goes to show you that we have a lot of interest in our area, and that a lot of folks are very proud of it, of the history that we have here.
Howie plans to add to the project long term and will continue to take inspiration from nearby cities and towns and rebuild again and again to ensure his scale of 1/160. Madison Marier, CTV News, Espanola.
For decades, Foreigner has been belting out hits in front of adoring fans, and now they're back in Sudbury.
They're going to expect to know a lot more songs than they realize are Foreigner songs. We are one of the few bands in the world where our songs are more famous than the band is.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers are on their fall Canadian tour before a significant milestone next year, 50 years since the band was first formed. They've got a short Vegas residency, more touring, a documentary, the relaunch of a musical, and even new songs to release.
Right now, we're firing on all cylinders, so why stop?
At almost every show, Foreigner showcases the talents of local school choirs, providing vocals on one of their iconic ballads.
Wanna know what love is?
People, especially kids, they need the arts, they need music. So we're trying to raise awareness about that. We donate money to their schools for them coming down. And then to have that choir on stage singing with us, it's an incredible experience. It's a real lift in the show.
Tonight, the choir from Sudbury Secondary School will be on stage with the band.
So that will be, I think, second last song, pretty iconic song. And they sound really good doing it, so it's going to be cool to sing with the band this amazing piece.
It's just such a cool landmark experience. Nobody gets to be like, yeah, I sung on stage with Foreigner, their hit song. That's insane. It's a crazy thing to try and wrap my head around.
Following tonight's performance in Sudbury, Foreigner will head to Sault Ste. Marie for a concert Saturday at GFL Memorial Gardens. where Superior Heights Collegiate will provide the choir help. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Jukebox hero. All right, I won't sing along, I'll spare you that, but Angela, it's safe to say, definitely gets her fair share of the pretty cool assignments. And how amazing for those kids. I hope Foreigner enjoyed its time in Northern Ontario. Stay with us, there's more to come. You are watching the good news of 2025. Welcome back. Well, it was a big year, it's safe to say, for most of us. A big year to party, a big year to look out for one another, a big year to give back. In my opinion, that's what makes us Northerners so special. We always look out for our neighbors. And there were plenty of stories about that, whether it was Sudburyans hauling a fire truck, a massive fire truck across a parking lot, some pets who saved lives and were actually honored for that, or two Sudbury schools who got the chance of a lifetime from the Blue Jays. But first, a city in our region has now turned 100 years young.
100 years ago, on April 14th, North Bay received its city status with a population of over 12,000.
We have such an enormous history here in North Bay from the start, you know, and to think that here we are in 2025 and how far we've come, how much we've accomplished.
To recognize this moment in history, the city and the Centennial Committee have partnered with over 25 community groups that are incorporating their own theme into the celebration.
It was an amazing place to grow up as a child. It's a great place to raise a family, to have a career, to be able to just enjoy what we have in this city.
The city will hold its annual summer concert series, Armed Forces Day, and Canada Day festivities, which will coincide with the centennial. There will be free public skating, a time capsule, drone shows, and a homecoming weekend in August, with more things planned still to be announced.
Without being mushy, I love the city. This is, we moved away for 5 years down Windsor, Detroit, and to come back here. And why? Because it's North Bay. I mean, it's so special.
It's an honor to be the mayor during our 100th. It really is. When we take a look at all the mayors that have built up to this 100 years and what they've laid the groundwork for.
The city is calling on all citizens to enjoy what North Bay has to offer, especially this year. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
In the Northern Ontario community of St. Charles lives 3-year-old Toff, a blind Great Pyrenees.
He saved my life. Like, that dog is the best.
In the early morning hours of July 16th, 2025, Toff alerted Judy and her husband Chris to smoke.
I figured he had to go out, so I get up, throw the first thing of pajamas on to be presentable to head outside, and as I get up, I'm like, I smell smoke. And there was the wild fire warnings for smoke warnings. So first I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, no, that's really strong.
Chris went from their basement room to alert her parents who were upstairs. But at that time, the fire had already spread. Unfortunately, both her parents passed away, as did their cat and 2 other family dogs. The couple and their 2 dogs were able to escape.
We climbed up on the dresser. He helped me out the window because, as you can see, I'm not very mobile. He tossed Aya out through the window, and then he tried to lift Toff, who's, as you saw, is a large dog. He could not lift him, and my husband's not a weak man. He is an Army vet. So he got out, quick thinking. He ran into the shed that's still standing, grabbed the garden hose, jumped back down into the house, made a harness out of it to pull him out.
Toff is one of 2 dogs recognized in the 57th Annual Purina Animal Hall of Fame. The other, Knight, a 10-year-old Doberman, bravely intervened during a grizzly bear encounter on a spring hike near Cochrane, Alberta.
I was fumbling, lifting my jacket to get my bear spray out off my belt, and I realized that I'm not going to make it. It's happening too fast. And that's when, so I was staring at the bear, and that's when I saw Knight leap into my line of vision. He leapt in front of the bear, which then stood up on its hind legs, and it stood there huffing. I managed to get the bear spray out. And I told one of your other interviewers, I just kept saying to myself, I'm going to live.
Since its inception in 1968, Purina's Animal Hall of Fame has recognized 196 animals, including 168 dogs, 27 cats, and 1 horse for life-saving acts of heroism across the country. Both dogs received a year's worth of food for the recognition. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, St. Charles. More than 100 grade 5 and 6 students from St. David and Holy Trinity Catholic Elementary Schools stepped up to the plate to play ball. At the beginning of this year, the schools were selected as recipients of Jays Care Foundation's affiliate school program, a charity run through the Toronto Blue Jays.
They sent us probably about $2,000 worth of equipment, including baseballs, bats, gloves. And after we completed our 8 hours, they sent us hats and shirts for all the students that they're wearing today. So it was like Christmas for the kids. They really enjoyed it.
Additionally, the schools also participated in the Jays Care Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program, which focuses on making sport inclusive and accessible for all.
Even some parents reached out to us, just thanking us for providing the students with these opportunities. Because some of them, it's financial constraints. Sports are expensive, even in the community where there's organizations there to try to help out, but sometimes it's still unattainable. So it's nice when the Blue Jays sponsor us to be able to offer this to our students.
Students say the program has impacted their lives both on and off the field by offering plenty of social opportunities and for some, developing a love for the sport.
Spending time with my friends and stuff and like finding a new sport that I actually like.
I just like playing it. I just like the game.
I hold the bat properly now and I swing very far. I'm very good at catcher. I felt like that really helped me a lot to learn about baseball.
We have to thank our principal for running this and the Toronto Blue Jays for helping and supporting our school with all the funds and all that.
Expenses like transportation and facility rental were covered for the big game, so both schools could celebrate all they've learned together. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
It took teamwork and pull to get this fire truck 100 feet across the finish line. 11 teams took part, raising money to support community organizations.
The money will support over 49 local community organizations who are running programs for the most marginalized in our community. So we have 3 priority areas, moving from poverty to possibility, supporting children and youth, and building strong and healthy communities.
Greater Sudbury Fire Services provided the truck for the first ever Big Red Pull, which the United Way says was such a success it will become an annual event.
That particular truck there weighs approximately 25 tons. It does have a tank full of water in it, so that adds a bit of a disadvantage to those who are pulling it. But once you get that momentum going, that truck will roll pretty good on this flat level surface.
It was awesome. It was a rush.
Once you get it going, it's surprising how quickly you can build that momentum and get it across the finish line.
The fastest pull was in 16.62 seconds by Valley Team 1, made up of mine rescue members.
We got to compete with our fellow mine rescuers. We're all volunteer-based, so it's great when we could get out at an event like this and compete as a group in a team-building event. The energy out here today was amazing. It was good to see all the teams competing for a common goal.
All right, guys, let's go!
The Big Red Pull raised $18,000, which will stay local. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Very cool to see everyone getting on board, and a very happy centennial to all of our viewers in the city of North Bay. That is our good newscast for tonight. We leave you with some of that telethon magic from just a few weeks ago. A big special thank you to all who donated. Thanks to you and your generosity, we raised more than $357,000 to make sure everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. On behalf of all of us, we want to thank the municipality of West Nipissing for allowing us to broadcast here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow during the dinner hour with your regularly scheduled news from the studio, and then back here at 11:30 with more. good news. Until then, thanks for watching from Sturgeon Falls. I'm Ian Campbell. Good night.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to sleigh bells in the snow said I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your day